Iceland is no ordinary land. It's a world of midnight suns, black sand beaches, bold women, and steaming hot springs under the snow. It's wild, mystical, and nothing like you expect. Ready to explore the unexpected? Iceland, the land of eternal sunlight. There aren't many places in the world that can make you feel as if time is playing tricks on you, but Iceland is certainly one of them. In the summer, especially around June, the sun almost never sets. In regions near the Arctic Circle like Akureyri or Isafjordur, daylight stretches across a full 24 hours, creating a phenomenon known as the midnight sun. This doesn't just disrupt your daily routine, where you can take a stroll at midnight under sunlight that looks like afternoon. It also inspires unique cultural experiences, outdoor festivals, 2 a.m. picnics, and arts events unlike anywhere else in the world. In contrast, winter in Iceland is a journey into darkness. Many areas receive only a few faint hours of light each day, and sometimes none at all. But Icelanders don't shy away from the dark. They embrace it. From the soft glow of candles in every cozy cafe to the gentle shimmer of the northern lights, winter becomes an essential part of Icelandic identity. It's this harsh contrast between light and shadow, between bitter cold and inner warmth, that forges the resilient spirit and haunting beauty of the Icelandic soul. Are you the type who sleeps all day and grinds all night? Ever woken up at 4 p.m. wondering, wait, is it morning or evening? Then Iceland is your spiritual soulmate. Even the sun here pulls overtime without getting paid. Reynisfjara, a legend without sunshine. If you're used to sun-soaked shores and turquoise waters, Reynisfjara, the black sand beach in southern Iceland, will completely change your definition of seaside beauty. Nestled at the foot of snow-covered mountains near the small town of Viki Myrdal, Reynisfjara offers a scene so otherworldly, it feels pulled from a Norse fantasy novel. The sand here isn't golden, but jet black, formed from thousands of years of cooled volcanic lava. Towering basalt columns line the shore, natural sculptures created by slowly cooling magma, resembling the ruins of a giant ancient fortress. The waves here are not gentle. They crash with raw, untamed power, often reaching over 12 meters high. Reynisfjara rarely sees sunshine. The sky is usually overcast, the wind howling, and thick mist rolling in. And yet, this very lack of sunlight gives the beach its surreal, striking beauty. A place where you can shoot breathtaking photos while feeling the primal breath of the earth itself. Are you team tropical beach or team gothic drama by the sea? Be honest, this place looks like Mother Nature binge-watched too much Viking TV and said, let's go full dark mode. Iceland, land of modern goddesses. In Iceland, the beauty of women isn't just in their Nordic features, sharp cheekbones, platinum hair, icy blue eyes, but in their aura of independence and freedom that radiates from every step. With a population of just around 400,000, Iceland ranks among the most gender-equal countries in the world. Here, women face no boundaries in what they can be: entrepreneurs, authors, carpenters, teachers, mountain guides, or simply strong, self-reliant single mothers. They love in their own way, boldly, deeply, and without fear of judgment. Due to the small population and close genetic ties in the community, the risk of accidentally dating a relative is a real concern. To avoid awkward surprises, Icelanders have developed a unique app called Icelandic app, which lets users check whether they're related to the person they're dating. Strange as it may seem, this actually shows a deep respect for family values and genetic awareness, a modern twist in a post-Viking society. What's especially intriguing is that Icelandic women often don't prioritize nationality or looks when choosing a partner. What matters most to them is respect, honesty, and long-term commitment. Perhaps that's why many foreign visitors have fallen in love and stayed, just because they couldn't resist a mysterious Nordic goddess in the misty streets of Reykjavik. Iceland, where women are truly honored. Iceland is not only a land of ice and fire, it's also a place where feminism is not preached through loud slogans, but demonstrated through concrete action. For years, Iceland has consistently ranked #1 in the world for gender equality, according to the World Economic Forum, surpassing even other Nordic powerhouses like Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Women make up 40–50% of Iceland's parliament and top-level institutions. Many ministers, CEOs, and Supreme Court judges are women. But what's even more admirable is that their presence isn't the result of forced quotas. It's the natural outcome of a society that genuinely believes in ability, regardless of gender. One of the most powerful symbols of this belief is October 24th, Women's Day Off. On this day, Icelandic women are encouraged to stop working, both in offices and at home, to remind the nation of their irreplaceable value. First held in 1975, the event disrupted Iceland's economy so significantly that it forced the country to reconsider what labor value truly means. The result? Just 5 years later, Iceland elected the world's first female president, Vigdis Finnbogadóttir. Her victory became a turning point not just for Iceland, but for the global women's rights movement. Iceland has proven that gender equality is not a privilege, but a foundation for building a strong, fair, and compassionate nation. Free and high-quality education system. While many countries still wrestle with soaring tuition fees and endless debates about education reform, Iceland has quietly built an admirable model of public education, completely free, from elementary school all the way through university. But this is more than a welfare policy. It's a statement of equality and opportunity. In Iceland, education isn't a path designed to test or filter students. It's a space for developing critical thinking, creativity, and individuality. Teachers aren't there to lecture, but to guide, inspire, and spark curiosity. Students are encouraged to question textbooks, debate with their instructors, and think independently. Old Icelandic, the ancient and remarkably unchanged language of the nation, is still taught as part of cultural heritage. At the same time, students are exposed early to English, digital technology, soft skills, and environmental education. This holistic approach is one reason why Iceland's illiteracy rate is nearly zero, and its people are known for their self-learning abilities and exceptional civic knowledge. In short, Iceland's education system doesn't just train people, it nurtures democratic thinking, intellectual freedom, and compassion, shaping a society that's both progressive and humane. Vikings and Jeans, Iceland's living legacy. Despite having only around 400,000 citizens, Iceland holds a biological treasure the world cannot ignore: the largest genetic database per capita on Earth. More than 2/3 of Icelanders have voluntarily contributed their DNA to the company Decode Genetics, putting the country at the forefront of genetic research, from preventing cardiovascular diseases and diabetes to tackling complex conditions like Alzheimer's and cancer. What's even more fascinating is that this project isn't just about medicine. It also helps people trace their Viking roots. With just a few clicks, you can discover which line of Norse warriors you descend from, and even connect with distant relatives across the ocean. It's a one-of-a-kind blend of ancient pride and modern biotech. The Icelandic government not only fully supports genetic research, it sees it as a tool to protect the future. Genetics here is a soft weapon used to preserve life, improve community health, and contribute to global medical breakthroughs. While other countries struggle with basic health data systems, Iceland is already miles ahead, merging tradition, innovation, and humanity into a visionary and humane national strategy. In Iceland, DNA tests don't just find diseases, they expose the truth. Was your ancestor charging into battle on a horse? Or sweeping the camp with a broom? So would you dare take the test, or are you afraid it'll reveal your great-great-grandpa was the Viking potato peeler? Hot springs, the social heartbeat of Iceland. In many parts of the world, hot springs are merely tourist attractions for relaxation. But in Iceland, they are the lifeblood of social life, a kind of wall-less cafe where the entire nation comes together to chat, unwind, and connect. From wild geothermal lagoons in the countryside to public thermal pools in the middle of town, soaking in 37-40 degrees Celsius, water isn't just about easing the body. It's about cleansing the spirit. There are no class boundaries, no status barriers, and no age limits. You might find yourself sitting next to a teacher, an artist, a construction worker, or even the president. And yet everyone chats like old friends. Icelanders believe hot water can melt more than just ice. It can thaw social distance too. In a land where winters are long and darkness blankets the days, warm water becomes a source of social warmth, a place where people find connection, companionship, and the comfort of being heard. So, if you visit Iceland, don't miss the chance to soak in a steaming hot pool under falling snow, where voices echo through the mist and friendships form with just a smile and a nod. Viking Village, where time stands still in glorious past. Amid the frozen northern lands, Iceland doesn't just preserve the memory of Viking days in dusty books, it brings them vividly back to life in a fully recreated Viking village. This isn't a movie set or a silent museum, it's a living model. Here, people dress in traditional Viking attire, live in turf-roof wooden houses, cook over open fires, and craft tools by hand, just as their ancestors did 1,000 years ago. What sets this village apart is that visitors don't just observe, they participate. You can don chainmail, learn to carve wood, bake bread on hot stones, or even take part in mock battles alongside fierce Viking warriors. During special festivals like Christmas or the summer solstice, the village turns into a living stage, with war drums, axe-throwing contests, and wooden boat parades that revive the bold, adventurous spirit of seafaring conquerors. This is not just entertainment, it's national pride made tangible. A place where Icelanders teach the world that the past isn't just to be remembered, it's to be lived. Reykjavik, a modern pulse amid ice and heritage. Reykjavik, Iceland's modest yet charismatic capital, is the vibrant heartbeat of modern Iceland. By day, you'll find cobblestone streets weaving between charming wooden houses and sleek modern buildings, with locals cycling leisurely, sipping coffee, and chatting at small cafes. Craft shops, libraries, and museums are seamlessly integrated into the cityscape, creating a rhythm that's distinctly Nordic, yet anything but cold. But when night falls, Reykjavik transforms, becoming one of Europe's most unique hubs for music and nightlife. Cozy bars double as live music venues, where jazz, rock, EDM, and indie sounds flow through the night. One curious detail? Icelanders love karaoke. You might hear them belting out tunes all evening long, from pubs to, yes, even outdoor hot tubs. Reykjavik is a place where tradition and modernity don't clash. They coexist like two veins, nourishing a lively, open-hearted city. It's where you might see a DJ in headphones walk past a grandmother reading folk tales, and both are equally immersed in the moment. Wooden cabins in the wild Iceland's culture of intentional disappearance. In a world growing louder and faster, Icelanders have chosen a different rhythm, the rhythm of deliberate disconnection. Scattered across remote hillsides, snow-covered fields, and whispering woods, you'll find tiny wooden cabins, without internet, no phone signal, and sometimes not even electricity. But this isn't about deprivation, it's a conscious choice, stepping away from the modern rush to rediscover pure, unfiltered peace. These cabins, often built by the owners themselves, are spaces for reconnecting with nature, listening to oneself, and honoring the values their Viking ancestors once cherished, living in harmony with earth, water, wind, and fire. They're not places of escape, but of return, a return to something primal, a deep human yearning to simplify life and trade virtual ties for meaningful ones. Today, more than 300 such cabins are scattered across Iceland, becoming symbols of a culture that values slow and soulful living. For Icelanders, these cabins are not just getaways. They are sanctuaries of stillness, where every breath carries the chill of the highlands and the echoes of centuries past. Natural wonders that leave the world in awe. Iceland is where nature pens stories almost too extraordinary to believe. From massive glaciers to jade-green geothermal lakes, from dormant volcanoes to mountains painted in surreal hues. The Blue Lagoon, the world's most famous hot spring, is a natural spa nestled in a lava field. With its milky blue water, rich in silica, this otherworldly pool offers more than just relaxation. It's a healing experience for both skin and soul. Soaking in warm water surrounded by cold air and drifting mist feels like bathing inside a dream. Vatnajökull, Europe's largest glacier, resembles a sprawling kingdom of ice. Here you can step into crystal blue ice caves, natural cathedrals so breathtaking they seem sculpted by divine hands. This is where explorers, photographers, and nature lovers come to slow down and breathe with the earth. And don't forget Landmannalaugar, the kaleidoscopic volcanic highlands, where trails wind through green meadows, hot springs, and cliffs that look painted by an artist's brush. Every step here is a visual journey, a reminder that our planet still holds wonders waiting to be uncovered. Hidden beings of Iceland. In many parts of the world, elves are fairy tale characters, but in Iceland, they're taken seriously. Icelanders call them Holdufolk, the hidden people, and many believe they dwell among the rocks, hills, and lush green fields. What's astonishing is that this belief doesn't just linger in folklore, it can influence national decisions. Several highway, factory, or large-scale construction projects have been delayed or rerouted due to public concern that they might disturb elf homes. One notable case occurred in 2013, when a road project near Reykjavik was altered after activists protested, claiming the area was sacred to the Huldufolk. Even more remarkably, Iceland has a well-known figure dubbed the Elf Translator, Ragnhildur Jónsdóttir, who leads an unofficial organization dedicated to protecting these mystical beings. In a country that leads in genetics and tech innovation, the parallel preservation of spiritual folklore reveals something profound: a deep-rooted respect for nature, the unseen, and the sacred, unlike anywhere else in the world. So yeah, in Iceland, disturbing elf property is a very bad idea. You might dodge taxes, but you don't mess with the Holdufolk. Insect-free paradise. Iceland's no mosquitoes, no ants. Imagine a summer without buzzing mosquitoes or ants invading your kitchen. In Iceland, that's not a dream. It's a glorious reality. As one of the very few countries in the world without native mosquitoes or ants, Iceland is the ideal destination for allergy-prone travelers or simply anyone who isn't a fan of bugs. The reason lies in Iceland's unique climate and geology. Constant temperature fluctuations between freezing and thawing prevent mosquito eggs from developing into larvae. Meanwhile, the volcanic rocky soil and lack of moist ecosystems make it nearly impossible for ants to establish colonies. While most countries spend billions of dollars annually on mosquito control and preventing insect-borne diseases, Icelanders enjoy outdoor picnics, camping, and long hikes with zero need for insect repellent. This isn't just a lifestyle perk, it's a biological blessing that contributes to the enviably clean and peaceful quality of life in this northern land. Iceland and alcohol, control for health protection. In most countries, you can buy alcohol at your local supermarket, but not in Iceland. Here, alcohol sales are strictly regulated by the state and distributed exclusively through a government-run chain of stores known as Vinbudin. This policy isn't a relic of conservatism, it's a rational public health strategy. After nearly 75 years of beer prohibition, which lasted until 1989, Iceland learned valuable lessons and took a unique path, not banning alcohol outright, but managing it strictly to curb misuse. Liquor stores have limited opening hours, prices are relatively high, and there are virtually no promotions. The goal isn't to prevent people from drinking, but to make them more conscious of their consumption, encouraging responsible enjoyment rather than reckless excess. As a result, Iceland reports significantly lower rates of alcohol addiction and alcohol-related violence compared to the European average. It's a prime example of how a progressive society can regulate consumption without resorting to extreme prohibition. Iceland, land of strange and spectacular festivals. If you think winter is a dull, gray, and lifeless season, Iceland will surprise you. Even in bone-chilling cold, Icelanders find reasons to celebrate, and they do so in the most delightfully bizarre ways. One of the most beloved events is the Iceland Airwaves Festival, held in the heart of winter, when Reykjavik transforms into a giant stage for indie, rock, and electronic music. Performances don't just happen in traditional venues. They spill into bakeries, abandoned factories, libraries, and even public baths. Creativity and boldness are baked into the very DNA of Icelandic cultural life. Then there's Beer Day, celebrated every March 1st to mark the legal return of beer after nearly 75 years of prohibition, 1915, 1989. On this day, bars and pubs stay open all night, fresh brews flow freely, and crowds raise their glasses in honor of the right to drink beer. But behind these quirky festivals lies a society bursting with energy and optimism, one that refuses to let harsh weather dampen its joy. For Icelanders, a festival doesn't need to be extravagant. With music, light, and community spirit, Any day of the year can become a celebration to remember. Cost of living, not cheap, but worth every penny. Iceland is often misunderstood as an overly expensive country, but the truth is far more nuanced and fascinating. While the cost of living, especially for food and services, can be higher than the European average, the value you receive goes well beyond what's printed on the receipt. For starters, over 99% of Iceland's electricity and heating comes from renewable sources, primarily hydropower and geothermal energy. As a result, utility costs are surprisingly low, stable, and immune to global energy crises. Clean air, drinkable tap water, and an environment free of industrial pollution are simply part of everyday life. In terms of public safety, Iceland is almost crime-free. There's no standing army, and police rarely carry firearms. This is a country where people feel safe leaving their doors unlocked at night, and where children walk to school alone from a very young age. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in Reykjavik costs around $1,200 per month. Quite reasonable when you consider the standard of living, average income, and the high quality of healthcare and education. If you value peace, a clean environment, and human-friendly living spaces, Iceland is an investment that never disappoints. Icelandic food, where tradition meets modern taste. Icelandic cuisine is a direct reflection of the land itself, wild, rustic, yet deeply meaningful. In a country shaped by brutal winters and infertile soil, traditional dishes were born not just out of survival, but out of creativity and a deep respect for natural resources. Skyr, the traditional thick yogurt, is a staple in nearly every Icelandic meal, from breakfast to dessert. With its mild tang, creamy texture, and high protein content, Skyr has nourished the Icelandic people for over 1,000 years. Then there's lamb soup, an iconic national dish made with tender Icelandic lamb, potatoes, and local vegetables, slow-simmered to perfection. Seafood also plays a vital role. Salmon, cod, and halibut are often prepared simply, preserving their fresh, ocean-born flavor. Yet Icelandic cuisine is also famous for its more daring offerings, like hakarl, fermented shark, and svid, roasted sheep's head. While once sources of national pride, some of these dishes have recently been banned or restricted due to modern environmental and ethical concerns. Today, Icelandic chefs are reinventing their culinary identity, blending traditional flavors with modern techniques to create a new Nordic cuisine. It's a celebration of heritage that also satisfies global palates, offering a dining experience that's both grounded and forward-thinking. Skyr is tasty, the salmon's fresh, but who's brave enough to try fermented shark or roasted sheep's head? Drop a comment. Are you team fearless foodie or team please just give me the safe menu? Iceland is more than a place. It's a feeling. A land where fire meets ice, myths meet science, and every moment feels like magic. So tell us, what would you chase first? The midnight sun, the northern lights, or a Viking feast?